Today, we are jumping into something huge, something that really sits at the core of family life. The powerful and, often invisible link between a parent's own emotional world and how their kids navigate theirs. It's a connection that is way more direct and sometimes more surprising than you might think. So let's dive in.
I think this is a question that pretty much every parent has asked themselves, right? Maybe late at night after a long day, you feel the pressure, the stress, the constant rush of life, and you just can't help but wonder, is all of this spilling over onto my children? The short answer? Yeah, it is. But how it happens, well, that's where things get really fascinating.
So let's kick things off with this idea called the emotional ripple effect. We're going to look at some incredible research that shows just how deeply our own internal strategies for handling emotions can shape our children's behavior out in the real world. Okay, so here's the key takeaway right up front. How you choose to handle your own big feelings isn't just a personal coping skill. Nope, it is a live demonstration for your kids, and it directly shapes how they interact with their friends, their teachers, everyone. And sometimes the results are the exact opposite of what you'd expect. All right, check this out because this is wild. A 2022 study of preschoolers in Hong Kong found something that really makes you think. When mothers used what's called emotional suppression, kind of stuffing their feelings down, putting on a brave face, their kids actually showed less relational aggression. That stuff like gossiping or leaving other kids out. But when mothers used reappraisal, which is that technique of actively reframing a bad situation to see the bright side, their kids showed more of that mean girl or mean boy behavior. Now, this does not mean one is good and one is bad. What it shows is just how complex this stuff is and how our emotional modeling sends these really powerful, unexpected signals to our kids.
So, to make sense of a finding like that, we need to understand the tools we have in our belt. It shows us that simple do this, not that advice just doesn't cut it. So, let's break down the 3 core components that every parent can work on: emotional intelligence, parental competence, and your overall parenting style.
First up, emotional intelligence, or EI. For a parent, this is all about your own emotional radar. It's your ability to just notice, hey, I'm getting really frustrated right now, or to tell the difference between feeling disappointed in your child's choice and being angry at them. That self-awareness, it's the absolute foundation for everything else.
And why is this so critical? Well, get this. Research shows that a parent's emotional intelligence level accounts for a full 15% of their overall parenting competence. That might not sound like a huge number at first, but in the world of psychology, that is a massive piece of the parenting puzzle. It's proof that our inner skills have a direct, measurable impact on how effective we are as parents.
So what is this parental competence we're talking about? It's not some vague idea of being a good parent. Think of it more as the bridge between knowing what to do and actually being able to do it in the heat of the moment, right? It's one thing to read a book that says you should be patient during a tantrum. It's another thing entirely to have the skills to manage your own frustration and respond effectively when your kid is screaming on the floor of the grocery store. That's competence.
And finally, all of this internal stuff, your emotional intelligence, your competence, it all gets expressed on the outside through your parenting style. This is the combination of your attitudes and your day-to-day actions. Researchers basically map these styles on 2 main scales: warmth, that's your affection and responsiveness, and severity, which is all about the rules, discipline, and boundaries.
And this chart just lays it out perfectly. You've got the authoritarian style, low on warmth, high on severity. Think my way or the highway. Then you got the permissive style, high on warmth, but really low on severity. Lots of love, but not a lot of rules. And then there's the sweet spot. Research consistently shows that parents with high EI tend to land in the authoritative style. This is that beautiful balance of being high in warmth and high in severity. It's about being loving and connected while also holding firm, clear, and consistent boundaries. Okay, so that's all the theory. But how in the world do we actually do this in the messy, beautiful, chaotic reality of family life? Let's talk about turning these ideas into a real, daily practice of modeling resilience.
I just love this quote because it gets right to the heart of it. This isn't a checklist you finish or a test you pass. It is an ongoing moment-to-moment practice. It's about committing to relating to your kid with empathy, being honest about your own feelings, yep, even the messy ones, and being willing to learn and grow right alongside them.
So what does this practice actually look like day to day? Here are 3 things you can start right away.
First, model regulation. Just do your best to stay calm when things get intense. It's not about being a perfect, emotionless robot. It's about showing your kids what managing big feelings looks like in a healthy way. Second, practice repair. You're going to mess up. We all do. The magic is in the apology. Saying, "I'm sorry, I was wrong," is one of the most powerful lessons in accountability you can ever teach. And third, teach resilience. This one's tough, but it's so important. When your kid has a problem, resist that powerful urge to just jump in and fix it for them. Instead, be their coach. Guide them, ask questions, help them brainstorm. You're not just solving a problem, you're building a problem solver.
Okay, for our last section, let's talk about something that is so crucial for every parent today. We are absolutely drowning in parenting advice, right? It's on Instagram, it's on TikTok, it's everywhere. So how do we sort the good stuff from the garbage? Now, you think that maybe having a higher education would protect you from bad advice, but the research says not really. Studies have shown that even parents with PhDs can be just as likely to fall for parenting myths that have no scientific backing. So this is a challenge for all of us, no matter how much we think we know.
There's actually a name for this phenomenon. It's called the Barnum effect. You know how you read a horoscope and think, wow, that's totally me, even though it's super vague? That's the Barnum effect. In parenting, it's when we latch onto advice because it feels good, it feels true, it's what we want to hear, even if there's zero science to back it up.
So how do you spot these traps? Well, here are a few major red flags. Be really wary of anyone promising a quick fix for a complex behavior. Be skeptical of those big, sweeping statements like, all kids need, or you should never. Always ask, where's the data? Where's the research? And take a hard look at where the advice is coming from. Is the person giving it more interested in being a trendy influencer than in having actual verifiable credentials? Using your critical thinking is maybe one of the best parenting skills you can have. So, we'll leave you with this to think about. What is just one conversation you can have this week? It doesn't have to be a big deal, where you can model a little bit of emotional honesty. It can be as simple as saying, you know what, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed right now, so I'm just going to take a few deep breaths. That small moment, that little bit of honesty, can be an incredible lesson in emotional intelligence for your child. Thanks so much for joining me.